So, how corrupt is Canada? It's worse than you think. For example, over here in the province of BC around 10 years ago, but this case has been dragging on for a decade. So there's this one woman who made a false accusation and falsely accused eight of her colleagues of misusing personal data from the health ministry. So these nine people, they were researchers or scientists with the BC health ministry. They're conducting studies on pharmaceutical medicine and also the results of patients taking these drugs. And one of them, she had a grudge against her team and she did fake news. She was a fake news whistleblower on eight of her colleagues, and she got eight of her colleagues fired for no reason, for based on her fake news. And 3 months after the firings, one of her colleagues, this guy over here, killed himself because he couldn't handle it anymore. These people were jobless and their reputations were ruined. Nobody want to hire them, and they weren't able to pay their bills, not able to get by in daily life. So this guy just killed himself. That's just sad. So this just speaks for how heartless people are when you throw your colleagues or whatever and your teammates under the bus like this, doing fake news on them. And how could somebody with no evidence, no police and no RCMP investigation was done at all, and government people just want to fire them because somebody said they did something bad? What kind of society is this? These people never had their day in court. They were never charged with any crimes on misusing, doing identity theft on patient information. No victims, no nothing. Just hearsay gossip. You can just accuse somebody of doing something and their life is ruined. That's what this is just. And none of these people, these eight people who lost their jobs and the guy who killed himself, they're not Chinese, they're not Asian, whatever. They're all white people. But that it doesn't matter what their ethnicity is. The point is the system is flawed. Anyone could just throw out at random accusations that are false, and your life is the accused lives are ruined. It's just like all the researchers and scientists in Canada, USA right now who are ethnic Chinese, they're leaving or their careers getting destroyed based on fake news. And also politicians in Canada, for example, who are ethnic Chinese or ethnicity is Chinese. They're born in China and immigrate at a young age, or maybe they were born in Canada, whatever. So anyone like Scam Cooper, the National Post or Global News, and this fake news person at the BC Health Ministry, they can just throw random accusations and the falsely accused people are just ruined. This is just such a corrupt system that we have in Canada. It's not just in the province of BC. I just use province of BC example because I'm familiar with this case and it's been dragging on for the last 10 years. But now more recently, it's just anti-China, and all this anti-China rhetoric has no effect on the real Chinese people, Chinese citizens in China, because for those people in China, life just goes on as normal. Exports keep rising and their life goes on. The people who get screwed over from this are the ethnic Chinese people who are born in Canada, USA, UK, and other Western countries, or maybe lived there for 100, lived in whatever country like Canada, for example, for 100 years, probably 3 or 4 generations into Canada, no relation to China, or even people who are born in Canada and their parents are maybe from China, Hong Kong, or whatever, or Asia, or maybe they immigrated at a young age. So all these people, Western countries are just screwing up their own citizens who are ethnic Chinese or Asian or whatever, no effect on China and no effect on Chinese citizens and whatever people in China. Western countries are just throwing their own people under the bus and creating divisions within their own Western countries' society. It's not harming anyone in Asia, it's just screwing up their citizens and creating friction between different ethnic groups. This is just deranged. What a flawed system that we have in Canada and other Western countries. There's no like there was no investigation at all over here in BC. No, there's no anti-corruption watchdog, no police investigations, just all ad hoc and quote unquote government officials just do whatever they feel like it, and everybody's lives and livelihood risks are just on the they're just at risk of decisions that are ad hocly made by government.